For the fifth play of Christmas, my favorite game gave me Storm and Sandman. Angry Wanda, Nebula, and Drang, Rocket and Hood, and a Mac, and 8 scary minions. Hello and welcome back to the 12 Plays of Christmas. My name is Josh, and in this episode of the 12 Plays, I'm going to be taking Storm, one of my 12 favorite heroes, against Sandman, one of my 12, probably top 5 maybe, favorite villains, and I'm going to be playing him in expert mode. Now, I suspect this one is going to be pretty challenging, so I don't know what to think about how this is going to go, but I am very much looking forward to this challenge. I have not gotten to play very much of the X-Men since they came out. I just haven't had a lot of free time. I have managed to play Storm enough times to know that she definitely is in my top 12. I really enjoy her, and she's for sure one of my favorite X-Men. But there is one more I like even better, so we can look forward to seeing that one show up in the presents, hopefully sooner rather than later. And for the Sandman deck, along with the Expert Encounter set, and he always has City and Chaos with Rhino, I also ended up with the Symbiotic Strength Modular Encounter set randomly, chosen from a pool of my favorites. So I do think this is going to be tough. Symbiotic Strength is definitely harder than the Down to Earth one, and of course Long Shot, always. The Down to Earth one that's normally in this one, he has some extra activations with the Swinging Assaults. There is just a lot of attachments and just additional effects that make him much harder. He's got 3 of these Enraged Symbiotes with Guardian Patrol that I'm going to have to deal with. So I have a feeling this one's going to be pretty tough. Now, the deck I built for myself to take against this, I definitely was keeping the scenario in mind when I built the deck, but I also really wanted to lean into the whole X-Men thing because, like I said, I just haven't played him a ton. And so I kind of went a little wild with the supports. I've got Utopia, Weapon X, Cerebro, and the Danger Room. So I took 4 of their 6 or 8 supports that they have. And I'm hoping to do a Danger Room strategy along with the Danger Room training. I have a fair few X-Men allies in here, which we'll see in a second. And then really all the deck is going to be is supports and allies, because Storm's economy is pretty rough. She has a lot of expensive cards and not a lot of ways to help pay for them. And since I wanted to play a lot of allies, which can also be pricey, I have a lot of things that are going to help me with resources. I took a helicarrier. I chose this over the X-Jet because I want to be able to use this in Alter Ego to help pay for allies to be able to use the Danger Room in Alter Ego. I have Clarity of Purpose, which can only be used in hero form, and Team Building Exercise, which can only be used in hero form. So those are going to help me too, but I wanted something that's going to help me in Alter Ego. That's why I did that instead of the X-Jet. And then I have just a bevy of allies. Now, I have Vivian. She's not X-Men, but her ability to blank minions and side schemes and things like that is going to be very helpful against Sandman. He has a lot of cards that when you defeat them, they're going to trigger the City Streets, which we'll talk about in a second. And if I can use her to blank one before I defeat it, it's really going to save me a lot of trouble. And then I have just a bunch of X-Men like Colossus and Pixie, Mirage. Sandman is one that Mirage can stun because even in Expert in his Stage 2 and Stage 3, his scheme is only 1. So her thwart will always be higher than his scheme. So she should always be able to stun him, which will be nice. Gentle, just because he has a high attack, and I need to keep in mind I'm going to have to clear that City Streets off. So I wanted allies with high attack that could keep that cleaned up. And also he'll help me deal with some of the many minions that are going to be in this encounter deck. Angel, just because he's largely cheap. Forge, because I have so many of these that he can tutor up for me. And Professor X, because I would like to go to Alter Ego here and there. Now, one thing I didn't bring was any Make the Calls, any Rapid Responses. I kind of shied away from the standard leadership tropes, partially for the sake of variety. You know, I play with those cards a lot. And partially just because I wanted to get so many of these resource and other type cards in here that I just didn't have room for them. So we're only going to be seeing these allies once a deck pass pretty much. And I think this deck is going to require a lot of setup. So I don't really know how it's going to work. And so I'm hoping to keep the City Streets clean so I have time to set up. And then I also have Def Focus as a resource generator just because Storm has so many superpowers in her kit. And then I did bring along a couple ready for actions that I'm hoping to use to soak up a lot of the indirect damage that Sandman's going to be pointing at me. And then just have 1 power in all of us for all the gray cards and the 3 standard resource cards. So that's the deck. Really just a lot of allies and a lot of ways to draw cards and pay for them. So We'll see if it works. I don't know what to expect. Let me get it shuffled up. Alrighty. Okay, now the big thing about Storm, if you haven't had the chance to see her yet, is she has these 4 weather cards. This is called her weather deck. And the alter ego ability tells you to choose a support from the weather deck and put it into play. And the way I'm going to play it, just for the sake of table space, just whichever one is on top is always going to be the one that's in play. And then they all give some sort of special ability to everything on the table. So Thunderstorm gives everything +1 attack, including the villain, including minions, allies, everything. Clear Skies gives everybody Stalwart. Hurricane gives everybody Retaliate, and Blizzard gives everybody -1 attack. And then they also have a special that can be triggered occasionally. When you put one into play, you can trigger, and many of her events trigger off of the specials as well. Now, one big thing I need to remember is I do have Clear Skies. It gives everybody Stalwart, and I have included Stun and Confuse in this deck. So that's something I'm really afraid I'm going to mess up. I'm going to try really hard to remember that if I'm planning on Stunning Confusing, not to bring this card out. But if I mess it up, I promise I'm not trying to give myself an excuse to screw that up here, but I'm just really afraid I'm going to forget that. But so the Thunderstorm is the one I'm going to start with in play. It's going to give everybody +1 attack. And then Storm's hero ability is that once per turn, she can choose to just swap out the weather for another weather and trigger its special ability. So she has a lot of threat removal on demand, damage on demand, enemy control on demand. She's really, really, really cool. Like I said, the main thing with her is just that her kit is very expensive, so that's why I included a lot of resource cards. Now for Sandman, his whole deal is when he attacks in stage 2, his attacks deal indirect damage, and that also applies in his stage 1 when you play on standard. And then when we go to stage 3, they do overkill instead of indirect damage. So it ends up being very similar, but slightly different, and that's kind of an easy thing to miss. And his main mechanism is he has the city streets that the 1A side of the scheme tells us to start with it and play with 4 sand counters on it. And then frequently throughout the game, including right now, when he is revealed, you have to resolve the Surging Sands ability on city streets, which tells you to add a counter to it. And then you have to discard that many cards off the top of the deck equal to the number of counters here. And this is only going to get worse and worse and worse. So you're able to remove the counters by exhausting a character and using their attack stat to take counters off. You can only do that once a turn per hero, but definitely something I'm going to be doing a lot of, because how difficult Sandman is largely has to do with how well you manage the city streets. Now, I have already shuffled her obligation, and technically it doesn't go in until after setup, so I have to flip 5 cards off the top of the deck. If one of them is her obligation, I will just shuffle it back in and flip another. Exhaustion, Sand Smash, Sand Form, Dirt Trap, and Webbed Up. Oh, happy to see that gone. That's a nasty card. Okay, so her obligation's in there, so that's fine that I did that. But technically, you would resolve that ability and then shuffle in her obligation. And the reason that he is trying to run his deck out of cards so fast is every time he finishes out his deck and you put an acceleration token onto here, I take 3 indirect damage. So that's a pretty good sized chunk of damage coming at me every time the deck runs out. So that's another reason to keep that low so that he doesn't get through his deck too quickly. Okay, so I think that's everything you need to know to get started. This should have 2 threat on it, and it only goes up to 9 and then you lose. So he's kind of like Rhino in some ways. He's very straightforward in the sense he does like to attack you a lot, and he only has the one main scheme. It goes a little bit higher than Rhino's. His scheme's really low, so you can go to Alter Ego safely-ish, even if he's not confused, and I'm hoping to probably do that from time to time because I can't recycle my allies. So I'm only going to get probably the 1 use, maybe 2 of Professor X with Pixie. So let's go ahead and just get started. So speaking of Professor X, Vivian, Clarity of Purpose, very happy to see that in my opening hand. Def Focus, yeah, I'm really just looking for my setup cards. I'm hoping to have a couple turns. I'm going to just try to manage the city streets. I'm not going to worry about damaging Sandman. I'm hoping to just have a few turns to get things like Def Focus and Clarity of Purpose into play. And then Storm's Cape is really good, but it's expensive. And Ready for Action. Okay, so I really like the look of some of these. I'm definitely keeping Clarity of Purpose and Def Focus. Getting those out early will be fantastic. I'm not going to be able to afford Storm's Cape right now. I'm sad to see Vivian already because I can't really make good use of her right now. She could just be a cheap ally for me, but since he attacks with indirect damage, the chump blocking strategy just isn't as valuable. And if he damages your hero, he gets to trigger his city street. So you really want to avoid damaging your hero. So it's good to use allies to soak up the damage if you can, or if you can just reduce his damage. But yeah, I'm really not liking any of the rest. Yeah, I'm just going to discard everything except for these two and hope to get something better. Torrential Rain's my threat removal card. Gentle's a nice big hitter. Another Ready for Action. And Weather Goddess, this card allows me to swap my weather support an extra time on my turn. So let me take a look at my hand and see how I want to get started. Okay, well, I didn't draw anything to play in Alter Ego. Would have loved to have gotten the Danger Room out early. Hoping to lean into that hard, but you know, it's just one card in the deck, so we'll get it or we don't. All right, so what I'm going to do is use Ready for Action to bring out Clarity of Purpose. This is an upgrade. I can exhaust and deal damage to myself to generate a wild resource. And Storm doesn't have a ton of health, but I definitely need the extra resources. So we're going to exhaust that and take a damage down to 9. She only starts at 10. And use that to bring a Death Focus into play. Reduces the cost of superpowers by 1. Storm has 3 attack right now thanks to the Thunderstorm. So I'm going to go ahead and use that to remove 3 of the sand counters, bringing it down to 2. Then I'm going to use my once per turn flip to flip into Clear Skies. The special on that one lets me draw a card, so hopefully I'd love to draw a double resource here. No such luck. I got the Helicarrier. Well, I think I'm just going to go all in on getting set up and then hope if I do take a lot of damage here, I'll be able to catch up later in the game. So I'm going to discard all 3 of these cards. I was really tempted to play Gentle, but I'm just going to bring out the Helicarrier. I've already got 3 resource generators in play. I think that's going to be really helpful for the rest of the game. I also really would have liked to play this Weather Goddess. I was thinking about switching out the weather again to reduce his attack by 1 because he's going to hit me pretty hard here. My strategy is to get really built up with resources, so I'm going to stick to that and hope it works out. Now, she does have a really good defense event, so if I could get lucky enough to draw that, would make me very happy. Blast of Wind, that's not it. Genius, Weapon X, Flash Freeze, there it is. Okay, so we really might play that. And some more resources, okay. Very nice. All right, so we go into the villain phase. Hapless Pedestrians goes up by 1. Now Sandman wants to attack me. And if he damages me, I'm going to add a counter to this and then flip 3 cards off the top of the deck. So I guess the question is, do I want to try to stop him from damaging me? I don't think I'm going to be able to avoid all the damage. But while I have a Flash Freeze in my hand, I might as well play it. When the villain attacks you, so I have to play it now, I use Clarity of Purpose for a resource. So I take another damage, oh boy, to play Flash Freeze. When the villain attacks you, the villain and each minion engaged with you gets -3 attack while attacking you this phase. Now, if Blizzard was in play, I would also get to resolve its special, which allows you to blank a minion's text box, but I don't have that. So what's neat about that, though, is it lasts for the entire phase. So even if he attacks me another time, you know, if he gets like an assault or something like that, it'll still be at -3. That's really powerful, and it works on all the minions too. So now that he's attacking me for 3 less, if I exhaust to defend, I only defend for 1, and I don't have any allies in my hand, so I think I better not defend because I'm going to want to use my activation to remove some more sand counters probably. So a 0 boost here would be really nice because he's attacking me for 0 currently. So, hey, it is 0, but resolve this card's when revealed. Place 2 sand counters on city streets, then resolve its Surging Sands ability. If at least 1 Sandman card is discarded this way, you are stunned. Well, I'm Stalwart currently, so I don't have to worry about that. Man, this is a lot of... So we're putting 2 more, or we're putting 1, yeah, we're putting 2 on there, and then we resolve Surging Sands, which adds another 1. So it's up to 5. And we're discarding 5 cards, and if any of them are Sandman, which they are, 3, 4, and 5. So I would be stunned, but thanks to Clear Skies, everybody is Stalwart, so I'm not stunned, so I don't have to worry about that. And more importantly, he did not damage me. The boost was 0, so that's fantastic. We still ended up with dealing with this thingy, but at least I didn't take any damage. And so all that's left is my encounter card, which is a Sand Clone. Its attack is equal to however many counters on the city street, so currently it's attacking for 5, which is a problem. And when you defeat it, it resolves the ability on here. That's the type of thing I was hoping to use Vivian to deal with, but we won't be seeing her again anytime soon. Okay, on to round 2 for me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Storm's 2 attack to take 2 off of here, but it's about to get more, because after that I'm going to use Deft Focus and a double resource to pay for Blast of Wind. It says choose a player, deal 3 damage to the villain and each minion engaged with that player. And then I get to resolve the special ability of my weather support, so I'll get to draw another card. So I'm dealing 3 damage to the villain. He's down to 15. He starts at 18, which is quite a bit. And then I deal 3 damage to him, which will defeat him, but that's going to trigger City Streets, so that goes up to 4, and then we lose 4 more cards. Storm's Obligation, another Sand Clone, the Rhino card, and another Treachery. We're already almost halfway through Sandman's deck, but I knew this is how it was going to be. I'm going to take some turns to get set up, and then I'm just going to try to get caught up, so I'm not too nervous yet. And then the Blast of Wind allows me to draw a card here, which is going to be, the Danger Room. Very cool, very cool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my once per turn free flip into the Hurricane. That's going to let me remove 2 threat from a scheme, so I'm going to take 2 off of here. So it's only at 1. And I'm going to go down to Alter Ego, because he's only going to scheme for 1. Hopefully he doesn't advance. It's always risky. We're going to use the Genius to get the Danger Room out. So just another one of mine. I'm just going to kind of pile up all my supports here, taking up a lot of space. And then I'll use the Helicarrier to bring out Weapon X. You can only play this if you're a mutant, so you have to be in your Alter Ego form to play it. And then in Alter Ego, you can exhaust it and take a damage. I'm taking a lot of self-inflicted wounds here. But then I can discard cards from my deck until I discard an identity-specific card and add it to my hand. So just more card draw, more resources. I've actually got almost everything out already, other than I think Utopia is pretty much the only one left. I also considered the X Mansion for healing my allies, but there's only so much room for all of these cards. I'm not going to use the Weapon X now because I'm just going to end up adding a card to my hand that I'm not going to be able to play anyway, so I'll save that for next turn. So we're going to stand everything up. Got all my supports here. I'll just kind of do it like that. And my Helicarrier. And the fact that everybody has Retaliate shouldn't matter because we're going to be in Alter Ego. So I get to draw 6 cards. Oh yeah, Cerebro, there's the other one. And Utopia. Blast of Wind again. Torrential Rain, that's the threat one. Flash Freeze, the defense one. And Storm's Crown increases her thwart and is another resource. I think by the time I go back to hero form, I should have all of my supports in play already, which that'll be cool. And then I just got to get caught up with all the City Streets and stuff. So this is going up to 2. Sandman is scheming for 1 plus 0, but I do get this Symbiote, who is also then going to scheme for 1. So it's going to be a total of 2 more. So this is up to 4 of 9. So an advance shouldn't kill me. And then the encounter card is Under Fire. So the encounter card is 2 more encounter cards. Good old expert. First one is, Long Shot, hooray! It would have been really cool if I could have had a streak where Long Shot came out in every single one of these 12 plays, but I think this is only the 2nd time I've seen him. But I'm always happy to have him. Now he does surge into, he is going to advance. So he schemes for 1 plus 0, but then this gets revealed. He's getting so many free cards. This one is basically an armor that next time I deal damage to him, instead of damaging him, I have to do the Surging Sands. So I got to try to hit him for like 1 to knock that off, but that's just going to be more of that. Oh boy. And then he's getting this card. He's getting a boost. He's getting an Amplify to all his boost effects, and that takes 1 of each resource to discard. I'm just going to set that right there, so I'll try not to forget it. So I'm taking some time to set up, and so is he. Sorry, I'm trying to keep my cards straight. My camera's kind of crooked, so I have to play with the cards crooked. We're not professionals here at Get Up and Game, folks. All right, so back to me. I'm going to be real tempted to recover before I stand back up. I don't know yet if I'm going to do that, but because I think I'm going to start out. I'm in Alter Ego, so I could use Danger Room, except I don't have any allies to play, unfortunately. Now, after an X-Men ally enters play, exhaust Danger Room. So I could have done this when Longshot entered play. I'm going to go ahead and do this. One, I didn't think of it, and 2, nothing has changed that would make this like an illegal play or whatever. So I'm actually going to use Danger Room. This is a really neat interaction here, to go get a Danger Room training for Longshot and put it on him for free, because that was an X-Men ally entering play. Very, very cool. So now he is thwarting for 3, attacking for 3, and he has 4 hit points. That's awesome. All for the low price of a surge. So we did get to use our danger room. Now Weapon X gets me identity specific cards. So let me see, I have 4 in my hand, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've seen 9 of my 15 cards. There's still 6 left in the deck. I just don't want to chew through. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use Weapon X. Take a damage down to 7. And I'm going to flip till I get an identity-specific card. Oh, and it's our healing card. Perfect. So I get Aurora's Garden. So now I don't need to worry about recovering. I'm just going to use the Helicarrier to play the Garden. We'll just tuck under here. Oh my goodness, so many cool setup pieces. I was really hard on the Garden in a recent video, but I'll tell you what, I'm happy to see it right now, only because I don't think it's a very exciting effect. But healing 2 for only 1 cost, it's not exciting, but it is helpful, and I'm happy to have it. So I already take back what I said about the Garden. Now, the Depth Focus and Clarity of Purpose have to be used in hero form. The other thing is I could play Cerebro to go get an ally, potentially. You have to search the top 5 cards of your deck, but I've got a lot of other stuff in my hand too, so I just have to decide what all I'm hoping to play here. I definitely want to take out the Symbiote, and Longshot actually has 3 attacks, so he could remove most of the sand off of city streets. That's really nice. I don't really want to give up 3 resources for this, even though I don't want his boosts getting amplified either. Oy, got a lot to deal with. So basically all that to say, I don't think I'm going to play Cerebro. Okay, I'm going to go into hero form. I am going to exhaust Longshot to remove 3 of the sand from here. I'm going to use the Clarity of Purpose, take a damage, back down to 8 for a resource, and also discard this Flash Freeze as a resource to bring out Storm's Crown. You know what? I should probably hold on to Flash Freeze. I'll discard the Cerebro. I'm not planning on playing it. I might be able to hold on to Flash Freeze for the villain phase to bring out Storm's Crown, just another resource, and it also gives her +1 thwart. Then we're going to use the Crown and Deft Focus. It's so cool having this many resources on the table. Kind of feels like I'm playing SPDR. As well as discarding Torrential Rain. So that's 3 resources, essentially, to play another Blast of Wind. That's going to let me deal 3 damage to the villain and each minion. So it's going to be 3 damage to Sandman. Now, he doesn't take damage. Instead, this gets discarded, and I have to do City Streets, so that adds a counter, and then we lose 2 cards. Well, there goes Shadows and Master Plan. And then that will also deal 3 damage to the Symbiote. Now, everybody has Retaliate, but this isn't an attack, so there's no Retaliate damage there. And I get to resolve the special ability on my weather support, which is Hurricane, where we remove 2 threat. So get that back down from 4 to 2. I haven't flipped the weather card yet. I'm going to go ahead and flip into Blizzard just to reduce the villain's attack. And then now that Storm's Crown is out, her thwart is up to 2. We're just going to go ahead and remove all the threat. Just keep that nice and low. But now that we are incredibly well set up, I mean, look at this. We've already got the Crown, Clarity, Weapon X, Danger Room, and Deft Focus. So quite a bit of card draw and resources. We got the Helicarrier, the Garden, if we can flip down to heal again. Now, I'm going to hold on to this Flash Freeze for the villain phase. As much as I would love to get Utopia, I don't want to hold on to 2 cards. So we'll go ahead and discard that. We can get it back with Forge if we want to, because we haven't seen him yet. And so, yeah, this is going pretty well so far. I'm not trying to jinx anything, but happy with how the game is going now. Do I need to remember his boosters amplified? He's getting -1 attack. And we couldn't do the special on that because there was no minion to blank. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw our cards. I'm holding on Flash Freeze. We get Weather Goddess, Mirage, Torrential Rain, and another Weather Goddess. Okay. She still has 2 lightning bolts in there with Sandman's name on it. That's pretty much how I'm planning on doing my big damage. So it's It's kind of nice that we haven't seen those yet since we had time to get set up. Hopefully we can use those to bring him down quickly because there isn't really much else I need to do setup-wise. Just start moving in for the kill here pretty soon. All right, so that gets 1 threat on it. And now when he attacks me, I'm going to go ahead and play Flash Freeze. I'm just trying to decide how I want to pay for it. Well, I'll just go ahead and use the Clarity of Purpose, dig it out of this pile. So that is another damage, but 1 damage to reduce damage by 3 seems like a fair trade. So I'll play Flash Freeze, so he's attacking me for 3 less. So he's actually attacking me for 4 less, thanks to Blizzard. So we'll see what that all ends up adding up to. We get another one of these symbiotes. So his attack ends up being 0, which is nice. And because Flash Freeze lasts for the whole phase, his attack will end up being 0 as well. So even though he came out and he would normally attack, he doesn't do any damage. So love, love, love that Flash Freeze. So I take no damage, so I don't need to trigger City Streets. I did forget to account for his boost being amplified, but it didn't matter because he was attacking for -4, and it ended up being a total of 3, 4, so it worked out. And so now we just have to see the encounter card, which is, oh, gang up. This is the perfect time to draw this because that Flash Freeze is still in effect. So he is continuing to attack us for -4, and he gets 3, 4 again. But this one also has an ability. If it's an attack, it gets +2 icons and gains over. Okay, so now he's attacking for 3, 4, 5, 6, -4. So he is attacking us for 2, and it has overkill. But it's not going to matter. I'm just going to put, since it's indirect, I'm going to put it on long shot. He has 4 health, so that won't be a problem. So he didn't damage me, so I don't have to do City Streets. Symbiote attacks me, and he is also at -4. So, oh, that was awesome how well that worked out. I'm so pleased. Okay, so back to us. And theoretically, I should be able to pay for everything in my hand. Now I have to remember that everybody's getting -1 attack, including me. So even if I wanted to attack with Storm to kill the symbiote, I'm going to want to switch that out first. I think that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch this into the Clear Skies because I'd like to draw a card. Draw a lightning bolt. There we go. Hopefully we can point that right at Sandman's head. And I'm going to use Storm to attack the symbiote for 2. He has Guard and Patrol, so I definitely have to get rid of him. There's no Retaliate or anything. Right now everybody has Stalwart. We are going to use Weather Goddess to swap into the Thunderstorm form. So I get to immediately deal 2 damage to an enemy. So we are going to hit Sandman for 2. He goes down to 13. Then we're going to use the Helicarrier, the Crown, and Death Focus to generate 3 resources effectively. To play Lightning Bolt, deal 8 damage to an enemy, and if Thunderstorm is in play, resolve its special ability. So basically a total of 10 damage. So he goes down to 3. Very, very cool. Now, do I have any resources left over here? No, I have the Danger Room and Weapon X, so neither of those can I use in hero form. So I've used up all my free resources. So I could use Long Shot to finish him off here. He attacks for 3. Now, I'm not going to make the same mistake I made in my Wanda play. What happens when I flip this guy over? Oh, he's just going to do Surging Sand. So if I can keep that low, that won't be too bad. And then remember, after that, he'll be attacking with Overkill instead of indirect. Well, I think I'm going to play it a little safe. Instead of knocking him out, I'm just going to use Long Shot to clean up the city streets. Going to flip to Alter Ego to use my Garden. Go up to 9 health. Going to use Weapon X to go find me a hero-specific card. There goes Forge, Danger Room Training, Strength. Uh-oh, powering all of us. Please tell me I have at least 1 left. I just wanted an extra card in my hand. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, I knew there was at least 1 in there because I hadn't seen another Lightning Bolt, but darn it for being the last card. Okay, that's... You don't want to go into Alter Ego when you've got an extra encounter card. That was And he's boosted. Oh, okay, this might have been a huge mistake. That was really unfortunate that it worked out like that. Did not want that to be the last card, but that's on me. I knew there was only one, maybe two left, so it was a risk. I'd be really sad if I lose this game now because it's been going so well otherwise. Because I just really wanted to play Mirage, discarding 3 resources. And after she enters play, choose an enemy whose scheme is less than Mirage's thwart. His is, so she's going to stun him. And then I'm going to use the Danger Room. Actually, technically, I could have used the Danger Room first. So if I needed her thwart to be higher to stun, you know, an enemy with 2 scheme, you actually put the Danger Room training on her first and then trigger her ability. So she's a little bit more flexible. But in this case, it wasn't necessary. But either way, so we've got her up. I'm tempted to use her just to thwart that 1 off of there because now he's going to scheme for 1 plus an amplified boost. I'm going to have 2 cards, and he doesn't have any extra schemes in his deck, I don't think. It's just the advances, and there's still 1 in there. So it feels like a huge waste of 1 of her hit points, but I am going to thwart just that 1 off there. I just want to be really safe. I don't want to lose the game because I did something silly. So she takes a damage for that, but she's got an extra hit point, at least from the training card. So, all right, we're going to ready up. My stacks of cards here. City Streets is clear. The main scheme is clear. Sandman is stunned. All good things. If I can get through this villain phase, I'll feel a lot more confident about the rest of the game. Draw 6 cards. Genius. Blast to win for some damage. Gentle. Professor X, Vivian, and Danger Room Training. Okay. Okay, just gotta get through this villain phase. I'm nervous. So this is getting 1. He is scheming for 1 plus an amplified boost of 0, and that's the assault. So he's just attacking, he just schemes for 2. So that goes up to 3. We got 2 encounter cards. First one is a swinging assault. Oh, goodness. Change to hero form and the villain attacks you. Yep, okay. That really stinks. Now we're going to be able to use our alter ego effects. That is a nasty, nasty card. So I'm forced into hero form and he's attacking me, but he's stunned. So at least he doesn't attack me. But now I'm going to get to make use of all of my cool stuff. So that is just a mean, mean card. Sorry, everything is crooked. Okay. And the other card is Violent Tendencies, more Symbiotic Strength. I'm glad we've gotten to see a lot of these cards. Sometimes you put a cool mod set in and you don't really see very many of them. I feel like we've seen a lot of them. He's going to get this on him. And after he takes any amount of damage, he gets a face-down boost card. And if it dealt 3 or more, I can discard this. So I basically have to hit him for 3 to get rid of this. Otherwise, every time I hit him, he gets a free boost card. And boy, I don't need him having free boost cards. All right, well, it's back to me, and I'm very, very sad to be finding myself in hero form. So what am I going to do? Everybody still has 1 attack. City Streets is clear, so I can really point a lot of damage at him. So yeah, so I think we just lean as hard as we can into the damage at this point. So Storm's attacking for 3. So she is going to go ahead and hit him down to 0. So that flips him. When revealed, we place a sand counter on City Streets, and then we resolve its Surging Sands. So it's essentially going to get 2 counters, and then flip 2 cards. So we lose Rhino. Not sad to see him go, and Tidal Sands. Okay. This is getting low, though. There's only 7 or 8 cards left, so I might be getting a acceleration token soon. And he goes up to 19 health. So much. And one of my thunderstorms is already, or one of my lightning bolts is already gone. Oh, and let us not forget this. After he takes any amount of damage from an attack, he gets a face-down boost card. And then I did hit him for 3 or more, so this goes away. Glad I didn't, I almost missed that. We are going to use Clarity of Purpose. For a resource, I take a damage down to, down to 7. So that was 1 resource, and then 2 more. Bring out Gentle. He attacks for 3. He does take +1 consequential after he attacks the villain. So he's really good for sand control or attacking minions, but we really are going all in on damage. Since everybody's getting +1 attack, we're going to have long shot attack for 4, gentle attack for 4 more, that's 8, down to 11. I'm dropping everything. And then gentle takes 2 consequential for attacking the villain. Long shot takes 1. He does have an extra health thanks to the training card. I'm going to use a helicarrier and Storm's Crown. That's 2 resources. And Vivian, because I already have 3 allies, to play Professor X, who's just going to take the place of Gentle here, because I do want to continue to be mindful of that threat. He's going to remove the 3 here because that other advance is still in there, I'm pretty sure. So he takes a damage, and Sandman is confused, so I need to remember not to go to clear skies. All right, I'm just going to have Mirage attack him for 2 more, down to 9. I think I'm going to run down to Alter Ego to hide in the hopes of just flipping up and winning next turn. So she takes another damage. And so I'm going to flip down. I'm going to use the Garden to heal up to 9. I'm going to go ahead and use Weapon X to take a damage to go find a card, hopefully Lightning Bolt. At least it'll get me closer to Lightning Bolt. Okay, Blast of Wind. I didn't change the weather on my turn, and I probably should have, because then I could have flipped back into Thunderstorm when I flip back up, but just slipped my mind, so I don't think it's going to be a big deal, but I probably should have, so it's worth noting. And then I have a whole bunch of cards in my hand I can't play, and I don't want any of them, so I'm just going to discard all of them and stand everything up. Professor X is going to go away at the end of the round. But let's draw our cards. Get Torrential Rain. Just really would like to see a Lightning Bolt to help close it out. Weather Goddess, Flash Freeze, Energy, and Torrential Rain. Well, we still have Weapon X to help us find it. Hapless Pedestrians goes up by 1. He wants to scheme, but he's confused, so that extra boost card isn't going to come into play right now. And all that's left is the encounter card, which is going to be a Dirt Trap. It's a Crisis, and when you complete it, you have to resolve Surging Sands twice. Another thing I was really hoping to blank with Vivian. It only has 1 threat, but you have to complete it because it's a Crisis, so there's no getting around the double Surging Sands. But okay, he's only at 9, so I think we're in good shape here. I'm going to go ahead and use the Garden. Oh, I didn't ready all my stack here. I'm going to use the Garden to heal for 2, which is going to take me up to 10. But then I'm going to immediately use Weapon X. So I'll be at 9 to go find Identity Specific, looking for a Lightning Bolt. Come on. I don't know if I even need it, but that's what I would like to see. Well, is it going to be the last card again? Goodness. Oh, it's Flash Freeze. Well, that's not the one I was looking for. Oh, Professor X went away at the end of the round. But that confuse was very nice. Yeah, he's only at 9. We are going to be just fine without the Lightning Bolt. It just would have been a cool flourish to end the game. I'm going to go ahead and flip into hero form. Everybody's attacking for +1. So we're just going to attack for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is going to be just enough to finish off Sandman. And I'll take it. That was really fun. I'm the type of player that likes to build up a lot of stuff in play, but even I don't usually try to get this many cards into play. But, you know, getting Clarity of Purpose and Depth Focus right at the beginning made it really easy to play my other cards, which was nice. And the Crown came along. I got to do the Danger Room thing a couple times, which made me happy. I hadn't gotten to play with that yet, so that was really fun. Yeah, just pretty much got to do everything Storm wants to do. And just seeing her power with the +1 attack to all characters, Obviously, that can be dangerous with letting the villain attack for +1/+2, and hopefully I didn't ever forget that. But, you know, just building up a board of allies is such a easy strategy for Storm to deal so much damage, giving everybody +1 for free. And then, of course, when you flip in, you get the special abilities. And then just the way her cards work with, I don't think I ever played this one to remove threat, but, you know, just they do a cool thing. And then if they have the right one of these in play, it does the special ability again. So there's a lot of fun timing tricks you have to pay attention to when you're playing with her, which is a lot of fun. The Weather Goddess allowing you to play with your weather cards more often is just pure fun. And the Flash Freeze, that was such a powerful moment in the game when this got to reduce everybody's attack by 3, and then the gang up came out, reduced them again. That was a ton of value for just one resource. So a lot of really cool stuff. That was really, really fun. Always happy to see Longshot. So yeah, good play. Let's clean it up and see what we're going to be doing next. All right, we are almost halfway through these plays. This will be the 6th hero and 6th villain. And I've decided I really like opening the villain first. I like to see what I'm up against and then wondering if the hero is going to be up for the task. So let's do that again. So here we go. Who's it going to be? This never gets any less exciting for me. I hope it's still fun for you. Oh, one of my classic favorites, Mutagen Formula Green Goblin. This is just such a great scenario. Certainly top of many people's lists, including mine. He's very difficult and expert because he starts out by dealing you 2 encounter cards, and then when you go to stage 3, he deals you 3. So we'll see how it goes. I might want to play this one a little more casually because this is one of those that, you know, playing him on expert is kind of like creating for yourself a challenge. Like, he's really tough. So, and normally he has the Goblin Gimmicks, which is just okay. I'm really excited to see who he's going to be paired with instead. Oh, the Goblin Gear. What are the chances? I promise that was random. Wow, that is, well, that's going to be a step up from the Goblin Gimmicks for sure. I definitely wanted to play with this, though, because I don't like using it with the Venom Goblin because it's so hard with him because he's already so hard. But I do like this mod set, so I wanted to play with it. I wasn't expecting it to end up on Goblin anyway, which is funny. So that might have convinced me to play this one in standards because I don't want it to be too hard. And this is a really challenging encounter set. But we'll see who the hero is. It's going to be fun, though. That's going to be fun to see Green Goblin kind of on steroids, just beefed up a little bit. So let's do this one. Let's do this one. Okay. All right. Who is going up against Goblin? And do they have the chops to take him on an expert with the advanced glider in tow? Oh, Spider-Ham. He indeed may be strong enough to take that challenge on. This is, you know, I don't know if I'm going to do another hero rankings, like my personal favorites, anytime soon. And I go back and forth a lot. But man, he really might be my #1 top hero. I love him so much. Top 3 probably for sure. I had such a blast playing him recently when I did the silly kid show thing. I won't do that again for this one. That was more just because it was a 100 subscriber special. I'll play him a little bit more, or maybe a little bit less extra this time. But it'll be interesting to see. I kind of hope this isn't leadership just because I already played him in leadership recently. I mostly have played, so I'd like to try him in something different. So it's going to be, protection. Yes, if I had to pick one, that would have been the one I asked for because I think that would be really cool and a different way to play him. Now, there's some really cool protection Web Warrior cards that have like the Spider Tingle that work well with him and the Thwip. So I could really lean into those if I want to. And then just, of course, all the damage mitigation. You know, he wants to take a little bit of damage, but not too much. And certainly against Goblin, with the advanced glider, there could be a lot of damage coming his way. So protection will be an interesting challenge because you really have to bring the heat. There's going to be so many minions. And so protection isn't going to help with that too much. Spider-Ham's going to have to do that part on his own. But either way, I think we are setting up for a really fun game. It's cool that we got a spider hero to go against Goblin. That just, the gifts just keep on coming. This is going to be a great Christmas gift of a game. I'm going to enjoy that so much. But that is going to do it for this one. I hope to bring that game to you very soon. So I hope you'll look forward to it. And we'll see you next time we get up in game. Thank you so much for joining me for these, folks. and I hope you'll take care. Bye-bye.